It is my great pleasure to introduce our next panel, who need no introduction, but still I'm going to say their names because it's fun. Ramona Singer, Real Housewife, an entrepreneur, a jewelry designer. Hannah Stocking, thank you so much for joining us. Norma Kamali, fashion designer, and I don't normally wear gold during the day, but I had to break out the Norma. So, all right, everyone, thank you, ladies, so much for talking a little bit about your platforms and how you're leveraging your platform to do social good. So, Ramona, let me start with you. Can you tell me a little bit about your story and what you are doing to change the world for women?
Well, being on a TV show that's not only just national, it's international, it's global, I wanted to give a very personal message to all the women out there. It's something that's difficult for me to talk about, but I was a victim of witnessing my mother under domestic abuse, physical and verbal. And when I say to her, Mom, why aren't you leaving Daddy? She's like, where am I going? There were no domestic shelters then. And she said, Ramona, promise me that you'll make your own money. You can marry anyone, and God forbid it doesn't work out, you can walk away and be secure and not have to wait for his check in the mail. Or no check ever. And I got very involved with Safe Horizons, which is a wonderful center for women and children. And I put that message on the show, and even to my own daughter. She's working hard to be self-sufficient. She can't wait to make her first $1 million.
Which she's going to earn on her own.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've gotten so many messages from women like, I'm inspiring my daughter to be successful on her own. I wish my mother had given me this message. You're giving me the courage to leave the relationship I'm in, this abusive relationship, because I feel like crap and I know I have to get out of here. And we need abuse centers. Had my mother had a domestic abuse center to go to, my story would be so different. I mean, because of it, my one brother became an alcoholic and ended up killing himself. My other sister's a drug addict. These are things I don't really talk about, but I'm sharing right now, and it's hard, but it's important. It's an important cause. People don't talk about domestic abuse. It's something people hide from. People brag about going to AA, but they don't talk about domestic abuse, and it happens to all races, all income levels. So that's my story.
Thank you for being so candid. Hannah, what's your, you can applaud. Thank you. Hannah, talk to me a little bit about we didn't get a chance to chat yet, about your platform and what you're passionate about and how you are getting the message out there.
Well, I'm very lucky and fortunate to have a big platform across the digital space, and about 70% of my demographic are girls, ranged from 10-year-olds to 18-year-olds, and because of my passion in science and comedy, I really like integrating science into my comedy videos as a way of hacking the kids. So not only do they get a laugh out of it, but they also learn something from it as well. And kind of making science cool, And then also, I'm from Oregon, so I love a good tree. And I partnered with teamtrees.org, which is me alongside some other YouTubers who are coming together to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees by the end of 2020, and so far we've raised $15.3 million. Woo! And so we're really close, and if you guys are into trees like I am, you guys can donate at teamtrees.org, and $1 you donate, there's a tree that goes in the ground.
Thank you. Norma, you talked a little bit about ageism, and I know in the next phase of your career there are so many things, but you've also been an activist for AIDS, you've been an activist just in the fashion industry itself, about identity and about women's bodies. So I don't even know what you're into right now. Tell us.
Well, I think the most important thing, and sort of my purpose, and one of the things that I think we should all be aware of is what our purpose is, and discovering that so that you follow that path. And I realized early on that my purpose was to make women feel good about themselves. And there was a time when I would wonder about the hemline, or it's quarter inch off, or it's not fitting right, and I'd go crazy to make it right. And then I think people are discovering cures for cancer, and this is what I'm obsessed with. There's something wrong. But then I realized, the more I talked to women, that I could actually affect how they felt. And if a woman feels good about herself, she's invincible. And you all know that where your hair is right, you're feeling good about your body, you feel like what you have on is working, all of the stuff you put into your head and everything you've been working on and your goals, you can walk into a room and be invincible. But you can be taken down as easily if your hair isn't right, or you feel your pants are too tight, or you're not quite looking the way you want. And so that fragile line is a very delicate space. And so I spend a lot of time, and I'm writing a book about this actually that'll be out next year, on empowering women to not wait to find out if that fragile moment is going to be on this side or this side, but to be empowered to make it be where you want it to be. So I'm more in the enforcing the information about that now, and I'm so happy that I'll be able to share it, but I'm also extending that to aging. And aging happens to all of us, and it has a different dynamic at different times. So 30-year-olds who are not married are all of a sudden in a new age market, in a dating market where they're aged out. And a lot of their friends are married, a lot of the guys are married too, and all of a sudden, who are they going to date? So it doesn't happen just to 74-year-olds. It can happen to her. It can happen to all of us, and it happens at different times.
We have 3 people who have been divorced on this panel.
But that's okay. It's a phase. It's a transition. So I think aging and understanding the power of aging and how you really can come out the other end of every experience feeling empowered. And I am so happy to be my age. I don't want to be anybody else's age. I have more now that I'm able to do than I did when I was younger. So you'll hear me yapping about this for a while.
Ramona, you've been very vocal about earning your own money and why it's important for young women. Why is it also important to give back?
Because it makes you feel good. You know, it's once you're able to take care of yourself, you know what they say, that the best gift is not to receive, but to give. And it's good to give back. And I would advise all women to give back to things they're passionate about, because that will resonate. So when I had my Pinot Grigio, I'd go on tour to different cities. A portion of the sales would go to the local domestic center. It just makes you feel good. It brings awareness to the cause, and people will gravitate more toward it because they feel your passion. Like, I'm going to donate now to your trees because I see how passionate you are about it. So I say, follow your passions of what you want to give back, because that's where you'll get the biggest results from.
Hannah, what do you get from, by the way, I hugged a tree once in Oregon and I got sap all over me, but I'll do it again. I really did. I was so sticky. And it was in Oregon. Beautiful trees, though. For you, what is it about giving back what do you get from it?
I think that the world is unfortunately filled with a lot of negativity. So when you have the opportunity to give back, whatever it may be on any kind of spectrum, seeing the happiness that gives the other person, not only the other person, but you as well, is unlike any feeling I've ever had in my life. It's the best feeling ever to give back.
All of you interface with the people who admire you often. It's not in real time always. I mean, you're going to BravoCon today, so you're going to get a million selfies and a million hugs, I'm sure. But what's it like to interact with people on social media? Is it genuine? Is it real? How does it feel to you? Is it good?
It is good. I'm very fortunate to have the platform that I have, and also the fans that I have. And there are often times where I'll check the direct messages of fans that specifically only send it to me, and they tell me that through my videos of making them laugh, it actually saved their life, or it saved them through severe depression, and that's the best gift I could ever do, and this is why I do that.
I'm going to speak to Norma about being ageless and taking age, because I'm going to announce it. I can't believe it. I'll be 63 next week. And I feel better than ever. I feel stronger than ever and happier than ever. And I had my mother told me this at 30. I say, what, are you crazy? Are you nuts? But I feel good that way. And some of the negative things I get on my Instagram will be like, she shouldn't be wearing that. Why is she wearing the shorts? And then my fans will fight back, well, she looks good, leave her alone. And, you know, that's one thing I find sometimes in social media. They can be very negative, and if you have a weak self-esteem, it can bother you, but sometimes your fans, you know, will hit them back. But I just say you have to feel good about yourself, you have to love yourself, and then everything else just comes.
And props to Lorene Arbus for starting to text 2 months ago. Congratulations. Welcome. For you, do you monitor what people are saying on social media?
I think one of the things that Hannah has in what she does is humor is everything. If you can't laugh, all of the anger that we see everywhere right now is so extreme and volatile. And in my 74 years, I have never seen the anger at the level it is right now, and in a lot of women. And we have a lot to be angry about, but we have to laugh so that we can communicate, so that we can restore and we can rebuild. And the beauty of something like what Hannah does is that through humor, she's telling so many more powerful stories because people are listening. They're not fighting her about it. They're not having an argument with her about it. And so I love people that have the ability to use humor.
All right, so Hannah, you can't see this, but she has a tattoo on her ankle, the other one. It says, "You good?"
Yeah.
And I laughed
Yeah, it
when I
does.
saw that sitting here. I just noticed it.
Also, I shouldn't be saying this, but on the bottom of my foot, it says, "Hi, how are you?" And then on the other foot, it says, "I'm good, thanks," so I can clap them together and they can communicate.
Who are the women, Norma, that you admire? Who do you think that, not just women that you admire, but that have really made a difference and made the world a better place?
The truth is that there are so many. That there are so many women that to pick out one almost eliminates the other. But I think for me, in my life experience, I think my mother was the most powerful influence in my life, especially a woman that was born in a time where women really had no options. And she also said to me, I remember at 11, "Norma, I'm going to have a very serious conversation with you right now. I want you to earn your own way so that you can make the choices you want to make and you can be with the man you love and not have to be beholden to anybody." But she also showed me that women can do anything and that there isn't anything we shouldn't be able to do. So women who live by example, and they could be unassuming, unknown, not famous, are really the more powerful ones because they're the ones that influence. Who's her mother? Who's your mother? Like that.
Wait, where's Mom?
Yeah.
Stand up, Mom,
stand
right
up,
there.
Mom.
Table 2. That's my mom.
Hannah, what's your mom's name?
Yeah.
Hannah, what's your mom's name?
Holly Stocking.
Hi, Holly.
So those are your mothers are really the influences. And even if there was a negative interaction with your mother, you know, I didn't have a great time with my mother all the time. I got married at 19. I had to leave the house. She was menopausal. She was making me crazy. We were fighting. But all of that trained me other skills that I use in my business and how to deal with women who may not be sort of as friendly or open or humorous. So every mother in a woman's life, I think, is the most influential and the most powerful for all of us.
Ramona, who is it for you? Who are the women that have really made a difference that you admire?
Well, the other charity that I'm really like is the Empowerment of Africa, helping children in Africa. And I really admire Audrey Hepburn. I thought she was a little ahead of her time, and kind of apropos, we're here in the United Nations, and she was an ambassador for United Nations, UNICEF, and she brought the attention to helping the children in Africa, because everything starts with the children.
And you, when we spoke about this beforehand too, she was really one of the first celebrities to use her platform in a way to do good.
Absolutely. She was. She was on the forefront. She would definitely roll up her sleeves, and she really got involved. I mean, she took this cause to heart, and I think she was one of the first women who really dedicated her life to this cause for many, many years.
And
it made a difference,
Ramona,
major difference.
Super quick, telling people about the work you've been doing in Africa.
Well, I have a girlfriend. Her name's Christine Krieger, and she took me to Africa. And before we went, we raised money to build the kitchen for the school, because first you start with the children being taught under a tree. Once you have children taught under a tree, the government will pay for building the school. But the problem is the kids don't really get 3 meals a day, so we wanted to provide food for them. And we helped build a school with the kitchen. And it's amazing to see how happy they are. I mean, it makes you go back to your real life. I mean, I took my daughter there. She's like, Mom, they have nothing, and they're happy, and they're smiling, and they're laughing. And you see people on the streets here, they're miserable, and they have everything. So it's just very interesting to see.
And I'm assuming Holly Stocking is on the list of people you admire.
Yeah, number one, my mom. Also, my godmother, Jane Goodall. She was a pioneer in her field, and she had to work twice as hard in a society where they didn't view men and women as equal. And she's just she's changed the world for the better.
Wow, so that explains a lot of your science background too, your interest.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So for the women that are in the room today, and the young men, my son is here hiding in the corner, yay. What advice do you have for them, for people who really want to make a difference in the world? And that's the cool thing about the younger generation. They passionately believe they can, whereas maybe my Gen X generation was more cynical about it. Anybody want to take it? What advice do you have?
I kind of jumped in before when I was speaking that as youngsters, I call them youngsters, that they should follow the passions, so that way they get people more involved and they become more successful with what they want to give back. So maybe it's trees, maybe it's feeling better about your age, maybe it's whatever it may be, donating food, building schools, whatever it may be. Follow your passions where it resonates deep in your heart, and then you'll be successful and you'll feel so much better for it inside.
And I think the platform that we've been talking about is using social media is such a unifier in a way that my generation didn't have that. Hannah, how have you been able to wrangle it? How do you get people passionate about things?
You have to show your passion. I know when I was growing up, I mentioned I didn't really grow up with too many friends, and there was acquaintances and classmates, and they were almost praised for not caring or kind of just going about their day and letting things roll off their back. And I think it's so cool to be passionate, and I think it's so cool to care because it shows. And another, hint or something about growing your social media is to just be unique to yourself, because there's nobody else like you. And why not be yourself?
I mean, and in terms of iconoclasts, all of the stuff that you designed throughout the years, the sleeping bag coat and all of these things are very unique. You give women the opportunity to make a statement fashion-wise, but what do you think it is internally that they should be doing to project to the world?
Well, I think self-esteem is so critical to the success of women in whatever you want. And I think if you feel good about yourself, you will do that. And many years ago, when my best friends were dying of AIDS, and my two best friends, I really was devastated. Nothing like that had ever happened. I'm a baby boomer. Our generation was going to live forever. And there was no explanation for why people were dying, except that the immune system couldn't fight the fight to keep them alive. And so I decided to seek out how to have a strong immune system, therefore leading to the Wellness Cafe and now to Normalife. And a healthy lifestyle. The 3 pillars of a healthy lifestyle are sleep, diet, and exercise. And that's your secret to self-esteem. And it sounds sort of easy, and you know it's not, but it is sort of the rule of thumb. If you take care of yourself, if you take care of your body, your mind goes along with it. If you take care of your mind and your body, that's incredibly empowering. If you feel good about yourself, you are invincible. I absolutely have seen it over and over and over again, and I would love every woman to be free of body issues, mind issues, being taken over. Men and all people can suspect, can see when a woman feels bad about herself. They're almost like radar. They come at you and they take advantage. But if they can see, which you can, that you're taking care of yourself, that there's self-love, and that you're healthy and you care about being healthy, you draw healthy people to you. And so for women and men in the room, it's the same all the way around. Be healthy. Think about sleep, diet, exercise as your rule for every day.
One thing we haven't talked a lot about today, but I know it's definitely important for two of you based on what I see. You, I don't know as much as friendships. And I'm wondering, the women that you surround yourself with, how have they helped you succeed, Ramona? And again, I'm only projecting what I see on TV. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm having a birthday Tuesday, and I'm celebrating my friendships with my girlfriends. It's at 7 o'clock, women only, and I have 60 women coming. And these are women who've been in my life. They're not acquaintances. These are true friends. And because of these women, it got me through my divorce. Getting divorced with someone for 25 years plus, it was tough. And you know what? My women girlfriends, they just helped me, nurtured me, gave me love, attention. And I am in the place today because of their support. Women, don't negate the power of women friends. You have them for life. You have them forever. It is so important. Yes, your husbands are good, and your partners are good, your significant others, but you need your women friends. Trust me. On that note, I have to leave for BravoCon.
I know, she has to go to BravoCon.
You're fabulous. Lovely to see you. You're very inspirational with your story.
She is the coolest. Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Ramona. Oh, sorry. All right, Ramona's out, but we're going to finish up in 1 second. Hannah, talk to me a little bit about your friends, because they're featured all the time in your stories and on your Instagram.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have a bunch of friends that are in the similar workspace as I am, and not only do we keep our friendship outside of social media, but we keep it on social media as well. Growing up, some advice that could help you in the long run is keep friends or just people around you that motivate you, or if they have characteristics about themselves that you would like to obtain, keep them around as a friend.
Great. Norma, what's your advice on friendships?
I think friendship is very, very important. I think friendship for me is both men and women. I'm starting in my hashtag include men, because we have all...
Choose women and include men.
Yeah. I think we need to bring men back into the fold and welcome them in and help them understand us a bit more. And so by communicating again with them, giving them the feeling that they are welcome, and they understand now. They do understand. And like I said, if you project power, they will respect it. But the men in my life and the women in my life have been friends for many, 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 many years. And I love them, and they're always a part of everything that's important in my life. So yes.
Excellent. All right, well, I'm also mindful of the time, and I know that Andy Storer has to get on to his next thing, so I'm going to bring him up with his next panel. I'm going to thank Norma, Hannah, and Ramona is already on her way to BravoCon, and thank all of you for listening, and we're going to close it out with Andy.